All right, good morning. I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply, and today's video is going to be about the 4 types of tooling leather. The 4 types of tooling leather that we carry here at Maker's Leather Supply. All right. You know, the worst part of this is I'm in like a corner of the warehouse. So anyway, I prefaced this video by starting off and I cut out 4 coasters and I tooled each of them with the exact same, these clowns, the exact same flour on each of them, okay? No antique, no oil, no finish, no nothing. They're not excused. So, no antique, no oil, no sealant, no nothing. As a matter of fact, after this video, I'm going to dye. Happy holidays, right? I'm going to dye and antique all of these as well, just so that once again we can show some more contrast. All right. So, we've got 4 different types of leather. We've got Herman Oak, we've got some Wickett Craig skirting, we've got our Sepici, which is the import brand that we've always carried, and then we have our new Texas Oak that we just started carrying not too long ago. I'd like to compare all 4 of them for you so that you can kind of see some differences all the way down to, we'll talk about what current pricing is on each of those, and sometimes, depending on what project I'm doing, I might choose one leather over another and why, okay? So hopefully for people that don't have a ton of experience with different types of veg tanned leather or different brands and tannages of veg tanned leather, hopefully this helps out, okay? So we're gonna start with Herman Oak, okay? The Herman Oak Tannery has been tanning leather since 1881 in St. Louis, Missouri. Absolutely amazing leather, preferred by most of the top leather workers out there. It's a beautiful leather. Here's a square foot of 4 to 5 ounce right here. People like its color. They like how it tools. They like how the tooling burnishes, you know, which, you know, meaning that the color changes as you tool it and everything. It's just all around an amazing leather. That being said, it also is the Cadillac of leathers when it comes to price. It is more expensive than most, all right? A side of it at current pricing is going to run you $255. All we sell is A and B grade. We also sell it by the square foot. You can buy, you know, square footage. That when you order, let's say 5, 6 square feet, whatever, it is one continuous panel that you will get. It's not like you'll get 4 or 5 or 6 1-foot squares. Okay, but that by the square foot, it's $13.95. The reason that it's so high is because we have to create a lot of waste when we cut it by the square foot, because we don't send you a leg, we don't send you a belly, we don't send you a real flanky area. If we do send that to you, it's not counted against the actual square footage cut, okay? So you might have ordered 3 square feet and you got 3 square feet plus a flanky leg or something like that. Use that leg to practice dyeing on or something like that, okay? Anyway, so one of the things that a lot of people like about Herman Oak leather is it's a more dense and stiff leather. Like, this is a 4 to 5 ounce square foot, and I'm just holding it right here in the very center, and it's not like flopping down over my hand, all right? Even if I try to make it do it, it's not going to get all crazy and just fall down over the sides of my hand or whatever. I've done lots of projects with Herman Oak leather. It is amazing stuff. A lot of y'all are very familiar with Don Gonzalez. That's all he uses. I haven't even attempted to send him another type of leather because I know he's a Herman Oak guy. Just case in point, for my birthday this year, Don conspired with my people and made me this amazing buckhorn bag, because I've always wanted his buckhorn bag. I've tried to steal the one that he displays at his shows many times, and so he finally just made me one. But anyway, so with antique and everything else, there's your Herman Oak right there. It colors beautifully, it oils beautifully, it dyes beautifully, does everything beautifully. Herman Oak, it's great stuff. There's a reason that their name is just synonymous with the leather crafting industry. Okay, after that we have The russet tooling, or correction, our russet leather from Wickett Craig is actually skirting. Okay, so we really like the russet because of its dark color, and with that dark color comes all that dark burnish in our tooling. Okay, absolutely beautiful stuff to tool, absolutely beautiful stuff to stamp. That geometric stamping right there, there's no antique, there's no nothing on that. I didn't even put a sealant on this wallet. It's just a display for our store. I wanted to stamp it and leave it so folks could see what this stuff does just like it is. So there you go. Okay. That leather is a little bit softer than Herman Oak. Okay. Again, it still doesn't just flop down. This is, again, a 4 to 5 ounce square. Still doesn't like flop down, but you can just tell that it's a little bit softer than the Herman Oak. We also sometimes carry the natural tooling leather from Wickett Craig, but not way too often do we keep it in stock because honestly it sells very slowly and we don't want old leather sitting around. Old leather gets dried out and stuff like that, and then it becomes an inferior product. We don't want it to sit on our shelves and then when we finally mail it to somebody, they'll be like, man, this stuff come out of the desert or what? It's a great leather. It really is. Their natural tooling leather, I actually have 2 pictures that I pulled off the wall. Okay, Danny Trejo here is their russet skirting, and then this picture right here is their natural tooling leather. Okay, now granted, it's been on the wall a couple of years. Their natural tooling leather is very, very light colored, about the same color as our Sepici leather when it's fresh. Okay, this piece, again, no antique or anything like that. That's just how it's naturally colored over about 3 years sitting on my wall. It's just ambient light in our showroom. There's no windows. It's not been in sunlight or anything like that, but started out about this color. Look where it's at now. Okay, beautiful leather. Their sides are they range 23, 25 square feet. That being said, I've seen some of their sides. I mean, this goes for all the tanneries. I've seen sides of leather that were 18, 19 square feet, and I've seen sides that were 36 square feet. I mean, a 36 square foot side of leather is a big chunk of leather. So, considering we sell it by the side, the person that gets that 36 is pretty dang lucky. When we find one that's, obviously a lot smaller than others, we actually end up putting it over there with the square footage stuff to chop up into square footage, because it's not fair to send somebody a 19 square foot side of leather when they paid the same price as the guy that got lucky with the big piece. Okay. So anyway, the russet leather, once again, is absolutely amazing. If I am going to do a project and not antique it, this is one of my preferred leathers to use. I've made a lot of stuff with russet over the years because I've been a Wickett Craig man for a long, long time. I honestly didn't start tooling Herman Oak until we started carrying Herman Oak. But I've been buying Wickett Craig for years because you can also just get it directly from the tannery, and they would ship it to me wherever I was in the world back when I was in the military and stuff. So that was why I loved dealing with them. Really good folks over at the Wickett Craig tannery. We've got some really good friends over there. And again, you can't beat this leather. This is Doc's favorite leather. I don't care what you do out of any piece of leather. If it's russet, he'll like it more. So, anyway, their tannery is up in Kerrview, Pennsylvania. They've been tanning since 1867, so actually a little bit longer than the Herman Oak folks. The square footage price on their leather is the same as Herman Oak, $13.95. And then their side price is $2.55 as far as what we sell it for. That's our current pricing on it. So both of those are a premium leather commanding a premium price, but you should be making premium products out of it too. So there you have that. All right. Now, the next 2 leathers I want to talk about are our imported tooling leathers. Okay, we've got 2 of them. One of them's brought in from Turkey. It's the Sepici brand. And then the other one comes up from South America, and it's our Texas oak tooling leather that we carry double shoulders. So we'll talk about Sepici first. All right. So Here is a piece of Sepici. This is a 5 to 6 ounce, but it is softer than the other two. It is a softer leather. It has a softer feel to it. It's a little bit less rigid and dense. I'll be completely honest, as far as actually tooling, cutting with my swivel knife and beveling and stuff like that, this is my favorite leather. I love this stuff. It cuts so smoothly. And but that being said, with it being a little bit softer, it's not for every project. I wouldn't make holsters out of this. My holsters are molded, you know, to be kind of rigid and stiff, and it's a little bit more difficult to get that result out of this leather. Okay. The coaster that I tooled out of it is this one right here. It doesn't have as much tooling burnish to it, and that's one of the biggest drawbacks to the Sepici leather, is a lot of people don't like that it doesn't have so much burnish. In the comparison picture that I put on the Makers of Makers Leather Supply page earlier today, it almost looks white compared to the others, and I hate that because it really doesn't give a true depiction of it. But yeah, when it comes down to which one I prefer to put my swivel knife into, I love that stuff. It is great. And then if you're worried about the tooling burnish, well, it dyes and antiques beautifully, and there's something that I made out of this leather. If you're antiquing it anyway, tooling burnish shouldn't be a huge issue. I don't laugh about it, but I just, when people are like, oh, I don't like that it doesn't have any tooling burnish. Well, I mean, okay, first off, it does. You need to look at how you're casing your leather, or how, you know, what moisture content you've got if you're not getting any burnish whatsoever. But second off, 99% of the people out there are going to antique their project. And so why does it need tooling burnish? So anyway, I've made lots of stuff out of this. A lot of project boxes end up being the Sepici leather and stuff like that. Again, it comes from Turkey. Sepici, if you've, they want to say they're the tannery that Coach gets a lot of their veg tan from. And one of my favorite things about Sepici leather is it is clean. Very, very clean. Even the belly area, even the legs, I mean, it is a very clean side of leather. We sell that stuff just by the square foot, and it's $6.95 a square foot. We have it in 4 or 5 different weights, just like the others. Okay. Now, the last one we'll talk about is our newest leather. I do like this leather a lot, but it is Texas Oak tooling leather. Okay. And there it is right there. Okay, it has a decent amount of tooling burnish to it. It's not near as dark as Herman Oak, but it's not quite as light as Sepici. I haven't finished any projects with this. I actually have a notebook right now that I'm in the middle of tooling that I'm going to go ahead and, you know, do the antique and all that stuff on and make it all pretty. But I've seen lots of other people, what they've done with it. It's great leather. It dyes well and antiques well and all that stuff. We're not the only people selling this leather. Traditions Leathercraft sells it as live oak tooling leather, and then Frog Jelly actually sells it too. They call it American tooling leather. So yeah, they're all the same. All came from the same tannery, all came from the same lot. We sell it in double shoulders, okay? And therefore, double shoulders are cheaper than sides. They always are, no matter where you get them from, no matter what tannery you're getting them from or whatever. Double shoulders are always going to be cheaper than sides because they usually will have maybe some neck wrinkles in them and stuff like that. Basically, when you're looking at a side of leather, that prime of the butt is what most people are going for. That's where the leather is going to be the most dense and smoothest and stuff like that. But anyway, we sell double shoulders or single shoulders of the Texas Oak. They average 12 to 16 square feet for a double shoulder, and single shoulders start at $44.95 and double shoulders start at $69.95. And though this is tanned in South America, it's actually tanned on U.S. hides. Like, these are American cows that their hides are being sent down there to be tanned and then back up. And that's an important thing because our cows are well taken care of. There's less chance of getting skins that are just ate up by bugs and fences and stuff like that. That being said, that's why Sepici leather is so amazingly clean, is because they don't have barbed wire fences in Europe. That's why there's just not as much of an issue with leathers that come from Europe. That's why Italy has such fine leathers and stuff, is because it's, I mean, just picture perfect. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's what I have to say. I would use any one of these leathers in any one of my projects. I really would. But like I said, there are some projects that might require something to be a little bit more dense or a little bit more stiff or something like that. But yeah, I've said it a million times. I don't carry it in our business or in our store if it's not something I wouldn't personally use in my own workshop if I were doing custom leather work for someone else. Okay? So, hopefully this helps some folks. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. But until next time, I hope you have a great day. I'm Aaron Heiser of Maker's Leather Supply.